Mike Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor. Welcome to my YouTube station. I have been doing this for 50 years. I worked for IRS for a decade, and I have been in private practice for 4 decades. This August, I will have been doing this for 50 years. Actually, in about 5 months, I've been doing this long. I created a YouTube channel a couple years back when my son said, "Dad, yeah, I know a lot of stuff." I knew nothing about YouTube, so I started, and I got, I don't know, about 4,500 followers. I tell everyone the truth. I tell it like it is, and if you want to use this, you can use this, but if you don't, I'll give you information so you can go ahead and work your case yourself. I've been on TV a lot. You can look at my videos if you want, or my TV interviews, and my whole staff. I have a great staff at 777irs.com, and I do these videos for 3 reasons. So A, you don't get ripped off. 2, I give you the education, and 3, I give you insider information that you will never get from anybody else. Today, I want to talk about how do you stop IRS enforcement collection from levies and garnishments and all that. As a former IRS agent, I was a revenue officer. I used to knock on the doors. I used to be a bad guy. I used to garnish wages, send bank levies, and seize things, and seize houses, and seize cars, and seize everything. So yeah, I've been doing this a long time. So, today I'm a lot more mellow than I was doing this so long. And I want to tell you how you can just stop IRS. You stop IRS from any action by simply calling them. It's that simple. Most people don't know what to do. They're afraid to pull the trigger, so you call IRS to stop them. But yeah, that's really a simple answer. But what do you do when you call them? What do you need to know before you make that call? If you owe IRS and you're starting to get letters, when you call them, you're actually going to stop the cycle. You're going to break the enforcement collection cycle, and they're going to start working your case. Well, you don't have to be in fear of that. First of all, if you want to get representation, you get it. And I'm just saying, if we were representing you, once our power of attorney in, you never get levied, you never get this, you never get that. We stop all this. But really, at the end of the day, IRS just wants to close their case off their enforcement K2 computer. And how do they do that? Well, they're going to take a current financial statement, and when they do that, they're going to put your case either into currently uncollectible, into a payment agreement, or to an offer and compromise. But you must be prepared to give them that financial statement. If the case is with a revenue officer, they're going to want a 433A. If the case is with the ACS unit, which most are, it's a 1-800 service center number. If that's the case, you're going to want a 433. So IRS will look at this. They're going to want the documentation, like your bank stuff and pay stubs, and look at your expenses. And then after they make all that evaluation, you either go into currently non-collectible, which about half the clients do that we represent. You get into a payment plan, which maybe 20-25% debt, or you qualify for an offer and compromise to settle your debt for pennies on the dollar. What you really got to know before you make that call is to understand how you're going to be judged, how you're going to be graded, and how you're going to be evaluated. And if you know that, don't have any fear. The whole job in hiring a professional is to let them do that evaluation, maybe make some changes before the call. If you're going to do that, you must understand the IRS National Standards Program. Very, very critical. I've done a number of videos on this where you must understand that if you have income, IRS will tell you how much they're going to give you to live on a month, and that's the killer. If you don't understand that, don't make the call. What that means is IRS is going to tell you what you can live on for food and clothing, housing and utilities, car payments, and hold on, I just got to tell this person I'm going to call them back. And once you go ahead and do that, pardon me, let me finish this thought. So sorry, I'm expecting a call from my son. Anyway, IRS has national standards for food and clothing. If you want to know what they are, you can Google that. IRS national standards for food and clothing, IRS national standards for housing and utilities, IRS national standards for car expenses, and IRS national expenses for car operation. No matter what you're spending, IRS is going to modify that and change that and use their standards. It's that important. Before you make the call, you understand what the national standards are. So if you want representation, the person who's going to represent you, like us or whoever, they're going to know all that. If you want to do it yourself and you have a small case, and you should, just know what the national standards are in your county, and then you can go work that deal out with IRS. We're always here for you. You can leave me a comment. And if you thought this video was at least decent, YouTube, we thrive on subscriptions, because people think if they subscribe to us, YouTube thinks, wow, that's cool, we're going to move them up the charts because you're pretty good. So if you leave me a subscription, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.